Hello, welcome to Christy's Couch. My name is Christy Lucasiak, and you are on my couch. Hi, welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope that you are having a fabulous week. And Thursday, if I do say, just could possibly be my favorite day of the week. And not just because I'm dropping a podcast on Thursdays, but because Thursdays have always kind of been my favorite. Maybe it harks back. Does anyone say harks back? Maybe because it harks back to my college days, because I was a Thursday night kind of girl. So if anybody was down to go out on a Thursday night, it was me you were calling. I loved a good Thursday night out. That's all I can say. So I hope that you are having the most amazing week. I have been so ridiculously busy this week. Does anybody have those days? I mean, I've had an entire week of it where I just feel like the world is crushing down and I don't have time to do anything. The day I'm recording this podcast, sorry about this. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of madness going on. The day I'm recording this podcast, I'm speaking to sororities tonight until I think 11:30 my time, which, I mean, I love getting the opportunity to speak to all these young people all around the United States and hopefully inspire them. I talk about self-confidence and, my time on Dance Moms, but I try not to focus too much on that. I try to give them other takeaways. But they're killing me because I schedule them at night because I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. And then the day comes and it's evening and I just kind of want to sit in my bed and maybe watch Bridgerton or, relax. And then I have to be on and chatting to people all night. So your girl's getting a little old and tired. So maybe I need to rethink my commitment to these sororities. I love them and it's really rewarding, but I hate it when I have to wake up the next morning and I'm tired and I get no downtime. So poor me, woe is my life. I mean, I'm not digging a ditch, so I have no room to complain. Okay, well, that's like my bitch session for the week. So let's see, what are some of the positive things that have been happening? I'm looking for some new, easy, fun recipes. Everyone keeps asking me for them, and I feel this obligation to share. So I've been scouring the internet looking for some easy, fun recipes, which we all know I suck at cooking. I hate it. I just hate cooking. I would much rather decorate a house than cook, but, whatever. So I've been doing that. And what else? Oh, I know. Okay. First, let's just say the whole wide world is obsessed with Bridgerton, which I have not even watched yet. And everyone on planet Earth has said, the Duke is everything and more. I almost said everything in a bag of chips. And then I remembered it's not 1993. So I have to retract that thought. I don't even know why I thought that. So the Duke is hot, apparently. And I will love the clothes. And Chloe has told me many times over, I will love the house. So looking forward to it. I just haven't gotten there yet. I'm still sucked down a Ted Bundy true crime documentary hole. I don't know. I've seen them all, but now I'm rewatching them with fresh eyes and kind of looking at them, I don't know, differently, all the cases. I know. I don't know what I expect to be different, but in my brain, I'm just I need to see this again. It's that weird Ted Bundy obsession I have. So I have been doing that. But what I was going to say is, have any of you watched the Tiger Woods documentary? That was fascinating. I think it's just called Tiger, and it's on HBO. I want to say HBO Max, maybe. You guys, what an interesting, it's crazy. It's so crazy to see him at 10 months old holding a golf club. And then there's this whole controversy because his dad's he's a stage dad, but he's a sports dad. And he kind of, I don't know, maybe because I'm a psycho stage parent and I played one on TV too. I mean, you kind of get what the dad is saying in a way, because he's it's my job to foster this talent, and what a waste it would have been. And it would have been a waste because the world would have never known Tiger Woods. But he was so tunnel visioned, and he raised him kind of with no, I don't know, I don't want to say he has no empathy. I don't know the man, but just based on what this documentary showed, like the mom said, when you have somebody down, you step on their throat, like that's hardcore. So no wonder why, he was cutthroat on the golf course, but no wonder why people have all kinds of terrible stories about him. But I think it's because he was a product of his environment. But anyway, not a huge golf lover, not a Tiger Woods, I don't know, connoisseur, so to speak, but it was a really interesting documentary. So I would definitely check that out. I think it was 2 parts, and each part was about an hour and a half. So we watched that. And then what else did we watch? Oh, we watched The Night Stalker, which I read that book not a couple years. It was probably a decade or 2 ago. I read that book, and I mean, I hate killers. I have this weird obsession with, yes, I hate killers. I have this weird obsession with true crime, as most people do, I feel like, in today's day and age. But Richard Ramirez was just this special kind of monster. And I just wasn't ever that fascinated by him. Other serial killers, I think, are much more fascinating. He wanted to be seen as this devil almost, and he had no particular MO. He had no victim profile. So it was very random. And I mean, obviously terrifying, but that documentary, Night Stalker, it was a little much. There was a lot of crime scene photos, but it was definitely good. It just wasn't my favorite true crime documentary I've watched in the last year or so, but definitely worth taking a look at. But I will say it's triggering, so be careful if that sort of thing triggers you. But then the other thing that I have been obsessed with, you guys, is Amazon Live. Does anyone know about this yet in the United States? I need to know if you know about it. So if you know about it, jump on the Christie's Couch Instagram and comment on the latest post, because I need to know if you guys are obsessed with this yet. If you're not, you're going to be in the next year or so, I promise you. So Amazon has this live streaming service where influencers, basically, it's almost like watching a combination of an IGTV and old school QVC, so to speak. So influencers go on, they go on and they're live streaming on Amazon, and they line up products that they've used or or recommend or whatever. And usually there's an overarching theme, like Valentine's Day gifts or something. And then they just go through and they talk about what they have and what they like. But I found myself riveted by this. I don't know why. It has such an addiction quality about it. I was watching, and I already have people that I like. I mean, there's some people who I can't stand their style, so I'm just turn them off. And when you go to the creator page, there's subcategories and categories, and it's just really interesting. And I'm not going to lie, I'm sort of an obsessive shopper. I love to find something, but then when I find something, I love to share it with everyone. I'm the girl who's always if somebody says, I like your shirt, I'm like, thanks, it's from Target. I love to tell people where I bought things. So, Amazon Live has been a time suck for me a little bit. Okay, so we all shop online, right? Some of us more than others. I may be talking about myself. However, this is not a court of law, so I don't have to admit anything. But I do love a little online shopping. But there is something that I hate about online shopping, and that is the promo code field. Because if that promo code field is empty at checkout, it makes me crazy. I used to spend so much time manually searching for coupon codes, but now, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past, because Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. And Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, ranging from tech, gaming products to popular fashion brands, even food delivery. Yep, food. That's exactly what I said. So imagine that you're shopping at one of your favorite sites, and when you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons that it can find for that site. And when it finds a working coupon, You just sit back and watch the prices drop. It has saved me so much money over the years. And that's one of my favorite things is when I sit there and I watch my cart prices go down because of a coupon I found literally by clicking a button. And Honey has found its over 17 million members, over 2 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars in savings. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/couch. That's joinhoney.com/couch. And then you will thank me. You're welcome. And I also, because I am part of the Amazon influencer program, and I think you have to be there to be able to do the live stream, I was like, this seems fun. I was like, let me try it. So I did a live stream where I literally just talked about what was on my desk and like why I liked it. And I didn't have a ton of people. I didn't really advertise it. I think there is, I don't know, a handful of us over there, but it has live chat capabilities. And I had so much fun just chatting with people and talking about things that I genuinely like. It's something that I definitely will do again, but I would highly, highly recommend checking it out if you like shopping or if you like Amazon. Look at their homepage, check out a few people, see who you like. You can always hop on next time I'm live. Just look at my Instagram. I'm usually hey, I'm going live or whatever, but it's really fun. So I think I have a new obsession, which could turn into trouble for me because I already have a weirdly close relationship with my Amazon delivery guy, only because I ordered so much, not for any other reasons. You guys keep your heads out of the gutter, or your minds, whatever, just out of the gutter. Stay out of the gutter. Okay, speaking of gutter, this has nothing to do with the gutter, but it's time to introduce my guest of the week, and she's definitely not from the gutter. So V, I'm sorry if you hear this and you think I was leading in a segue with you in the gutter. You're not. But we are going to be talking to an old friend of mine. Her name is Veronique Cones. So Veronique couldn't be more of a unique French name, right? Love it. For years, I called her the wrong name, I'm sure. I think I called her Veronique, but it's Veronique. And Veronique is the director of influencer marketing with a really big toy company. And she came from a background where she still does influencer deals, but the company she came from before was one of the pioneers in the influencer deal marketing. Like basically they were a matchmaker between brands and those influencers. So all of that SpawnCon that you see, if an influencer is out there promoting a product, she worked for one of the original companies that helped to facilitate those relationships. And some of her stories are wild. Because I think we all have a fascination with the influencer world, right? Like I work in that world and I'm still fascinated by it because it's amazing to me how some people go viral and then they have these massive audiences and then these audiences listen to them. And advertising dollars now today, they're more effectively spent sometimes with an influencer, far more than maybe a random television spot. Like this is the wave of the future. And V was on the forefront of this. She was spearheading some of the very earliest deals. And I don't want to spoil it, but there's definitely names that you're going to recognize. And it's just really fun to hear how this all sort of came to be. And she's got great dirt about a lot of people and a lot of things. And I think it's really interesting to kind of hear where this might be going. So let's get into this with Veronique Cones. Hello, Veronique.
Hello, lady.
Hi. Okay. Well, I've been so excited to talk to you. You've been one of my interviews that I've been dying to have. Little old you.
Oh, okay. Little, yes. Old, come on. I'm trying to live my best life here.
It's true. You're not old. You're younger than me. So, I mean, I don't call myself old, but little you, how's that? Little you.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I think that you're probably a guest that most of my listeners are going to be really interested in hearing from because, well, first of all, I think everyone kind of has a fascination with social media on many levels. You know, it's like such a big part of our lives.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's interesting because you come from the other side, the dark side of social media.
The seedy underbelly of social media.
Exactly. Well, because you have worked in influencer marketing relations for years, right?
Yeah. This is, believe it or not, speaking of old, this is my 16th year in social media marketing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you all those questions, but let's kind of start because you and I have known each other for a really long time. God, I think it's probably been almost 10 years. I think.
You know what?
Maybe a little less, but I mean, it's coming up upon a decade. Are we going to have are we going to travel for our anniversary?
We have to celebrate this in some way.
I know. I feel like there is celebration in order. And
I think it has been 10 years. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we met officially, maybe started working together 2009, 2010.
Well, no, Dion's Moms premiered in 2011, so it was after that.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
I was just a regular old housewife before that.
Yeah, no, you were not important then. No influence.
I was not. No, I was not influencing anyone. So maybe 2012. Okay. We're next year. We have a year to plan. That's the point. But you know, when I was getting ready to do this interview, I was thinking like, I want to talk about how we met, and I cannot freaking remember how we met. How did we meet?
Dude, I had to rack my brain as well because part of our beautiful friendship is that it feels like it just always has been.
Yes, it has.
So I had to go back and really, really think about it. The first time we met was when I flew out to do a sponsored influencer campaign with you and Chloe, having to do with the Teen Choice Awards. I think. Do you remember?
It was Kids' Choice. It was Kids' Choice
Awards. Okay.
It was kids. Yeah.
That was the first time we face to face, but we had been in communication for a while.
I was just going to say yes. Yes, because, I should wait and tell this story when we give your background, but we had definitely been in communication before that. But that is when we met face to face.
That was our first, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you really know what's in your multivitamin? Seriously, have you ever really thought about it? Because a lot of multivitamins contain sugars, GMOs, synthetic fillers, artificial colorants, but that's not even mentioning the animal byproducts like sheep's wool and gelatin from hooves and hides that they could possibly contain. Now, I can barely even say those words, let alone the thought of putting them in my body. Seriously. But Ritual isn't your typical multivitamin. Ritual's clean vegan formula is made with key ingredients in forms that your body can actually use with no shady extras, which, hello, love that. I have been now taking Ritual for almost a year, and I can tell you from personal experience, when I'm taking it, I just feel like an overall better version of myself. I have more energy. I sleep better. I just feel overall more me, more the me that I want to be. And Ritual is a multivitamin, but it's reimagined because it's formulated with key ingredients, including vitamin D3 that help fill the gaps in your diet. They're fresh tasting, which I love because a lot of vitamins aren't. Delayed capsules are designed to dissolve later in less sensitive areas in the stomach, so you can take them with or without food. For me, that's a game changer. Ritual also makes healthy habits easy because your multivitamins are delivered to your door every month with free shipping always. You can start, snooze, or cancel your subscription anytime. And if you don't love Ritual within your first month, they'll refund your first order. So seriously, what's the risk there? So you deserve to know what's in your multivitamin. That's why Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/couch to start your Ritual today. Tell me a little bit, and we will definitely delve into like what exactly your role has been, but you know what? Actually, let's do that. Like, what exactly is your role in social media? And then I want to know what your background is, because clearly back when you were going to school, this wasn't something that people got a degree in.
Oh,
I still don't know if it is. Right.
It totally is.
Well, wait, do you want to hear something funny? So when I went to school, I have a degree in marketing and communications. We didn't even have the internet. I remember when the internet kind of came at the end, and this guy that I was dating, well, not dating, but like whatever you did, he kept sending me emails about why I wouldn't talk to him. And then one day he said, "Did you get all my emails?" And I'm like, "I'm not a fucking nerd. No, I didn't get an email." Like,
I don't do electronic mail. Write me a letter like a person.
Ew. I was like, show up at my door and talk to me.
You're like, who is this nerd sending me messages? I'm not even
Well, he
reading.
was an engineer. So that nerd knew how to do it. Now I'm like...
And he's probably like really well off and rich.
He is. Mm-hmm. Yep.
No,
well, it's fine.
Perfect. Great.
It's fine. Totally fine. All right. So tell me about your background.
You did pretty well. Okay. So...
I'm comfortable.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so my background. I am currently the director of influencer marketing, that is my official title, at a major toy company. And my background is in social media marketing. Like I said, I've been in the industry now for 16 years, but my formal education, speaking of what we went to school for, is in history.
Shut up. So you parlayed history into social media marketing.
It fell on my lap. It literally fell on my lap.
Well, how did it fall in your lap? Tell me, like, because you were really at the forefront of social media marketing as far as influencer relations go. So how did it fall into your lap? And then I want to get into like those early days, because you have some really fascinating connections that I think people are going to go like, oh my God, I didn't realize that.
Oh my God, I do. So for your wonderful listeners at home, let me just tell you what a director of influencer marketing does. So when you're looking at your Instagram feed and you see hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad posts for companies or brands, I'm the person behind the scenes that makes that happen. So that is my job. Is I'm the one who gets the products into those people's hands and then pays them to post about it.
Yes. So you work with... You're sort of like a broker almost, you know, you're taking those relationships and you're bringing them to the right people. And then you have to go back to the brand and say, hey, I found you A, B, C, and D. Who do you want to work with? And then the brand says, how about this person? And then do you ever have the opportunity to kind of sway them like, well, this person's kind of an asshole. Don't work with them.
I totally do. And I use that as much as I can. I totally do. Yeah. Because in any job, you want it to be number one, easy. So you obviously want to work with people that are organized, that know what they're doing, that are fun to work with, and that are not going to be total divas. But we can take a step back and just talk about how I ended up here.
Yeah, how did you end up here?
Yeah, so the year is 2006. Yes. There was no influencer marketing. We were doing Yeah.
Was there anything to be influenced, like other than MySpace?
No, dude. I mean, I was trying to find people who had live journals and, you know, Zanga, if you remember that.
No, I don't know Zanga. I didn't even know live journals existed. So no. I'm not, I wasn't that market.
Right. Well, exactly. Message boards. I mean, it was not social media the way you know social media, you know?
No.
And it didn't really become that until Twitter kind of came out. But going back to how I got involved, I took an internship at a local startup, an internet startup, right?
And so progressive.
Yes. And I was lured by a friend who worked there who, you know, they told me they had a pool table, and on Friday, on Friday nights they would go out and have beers, and you know what I mean? It was just this,
oh my God. Yeah. That's every single workspace in LA. Oh, yeah. Like they have bars and coffee bars and pool tables and like lounges outside and little pods that you work in.
And the masseuse that comes once a week, like, so
100%.
You know, and I don't live in the tech capital of the U.S. I'm in Orlando, Florida. So to find any level of tech company was like, oh my God, living in the future. Look at me.
Right. You're in the entertainment capital of the world, not the tech. Right?
Yeah,
Isn't Orlando the entertainment capital or the vacation capital? It's not entertainment. That's LA, right?
Yeah, entertainment's LA. Maybe definitely the tourist capital.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, for sure. How many people go to see that mouse?
Exactly. So the reason I was working at this agency was actually to do a study on the history of advertising over computers and also jingles. I'm a huge fan of jingles. I love a good jingle.
Like jingles, like what was that one? Hello,
like,
mother. Hello, father.
No, that's not a jingle.
Okay, so a jingle's just like, Timberlake wrote that jingle, right?
What? No, I didn't.
Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Look, my information could be totally wrong, but I think he did. Google that.
I'm going to Google it.
Google it. And if the information is wrong, don't tell me because I've lived all my lives thinking I had a really interesting fact. So don't tell me differently. Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'll just start my own podcast and let all your listeners know. If you want to know the answer to that, come
to mine because Christy gives fake information out. It's like fake news
fake
over here.
Trivia, yeah.
Fake trivia. I'm the source of fake trivia. Okay, so go on. So you were there to the history of jingles. Like what does that mean? But okay, I get it. Sort of.
Just the history of advertising. I was just there for that. And at the time, they needed an intern to run a random project about can we get people to blog about products. And, I was ever the little one trying to impress people. I was like, I'll do it. Give it to me.
I mean, I admire the initiative because I tell all of my listeners who are college students, I'm like, take initiative. Stop asking for permission. You probably have a better idea than 95% of the bosses out there because you're young and you're in it. So take initiative. The worst case is you don't do it right and they just tell you to do it differently. Who cares?
Yeah. And it worked out. And that one project spun off into a whole company. And that company...
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that company started acquiring other companies. And, 10, 15 years later, it was a massive social media marketing company. And it still is.
Sure.
And it still is. And they very much trailblazed in that space. But that's how I ultimately ended up here. I was in it for the pool table.
You were in it. Well, look, I mean, people have been in it for much, much sketchier reasons. So I get it. Now, I hate pool because I suck at it because geometry is not my strong suit. But if there was a dartboard, I would have been there. I would have been like, yes, darts. Or beer pong. I mean, truly, if they played beer pong on a Friday, I would have been there.
They totally did. They also
on the pool table?
Yeah. And you were allowed to bring your dogs too. That was a big thing, was like dog Fridays. And, I was like, well, I'm living the life, clearly.
Right. Casual Fridays and dog Fridays. You don't even have a dog.
No, I don't. And that's the thing is I like to pet them and then I'm done with it. Then I'm good.
Right. Waiting to pick Clara up from school at the end of the day is minimum a 30-minute event. I mean, that line is long. Thankfully, I have my phone to keep me company. But instead of, scrolling through the gram or reading tweets or even watching TikToks, I'm actually playing Best Fiends. It's a perfect time to catch up on my favorite puzzle game. And, I've been playing Best Fiends for years. I can remember spending some time, not going to lie, playing Best Fiends on the back of a certain bus. And it definitely kept me busy. It made those long bus rides a little bit more tolerable, just a little bit. But it is such a fun game. And with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. And once you download Best Fiends, you won't be able to put it down either. So just get used to telling yourself, just one more level, just one more level, just one more level. And I think at this point, I'm in level like 3,000 and something. And I still don't run out of fun because there's always another update, whether it's more levels or fun changes to the game. And it's always based on fan feedback. So just don't blame me if you become as obsessed as me. So download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. And that's friends without the R, Best Fiends. Well, just a quick little side note, I have to say, I remember the day that you accidentally wore tights to work instead of pants. So that's just kind of who you are as a human. I think everybody needs to know that. Yeah, you wore tights to work and no pants.
Yes, Was
that on Casual Friday?
No, that was on a regular work day. I definitely did that. I dressed up for Halloween one year, and then I found out that you know what? I just didn't read the email, okay? The company said, we're going to dress up on Friday. Halloween was on like a Tuesday. And on that Tuesday, we ended up letting go like 3 or 4 people, and I was the only one dressed up like and like people are getting fired, and I'm like, I'm just
So you were like Elle Woods when she showed up at the party as the bunny.
Yeah, yes, I was the bunny. Mm-hmm.
You were the bunny. You were the bunny. And you were probably something insane for Halloween, if I know you.
Oh my God, yes. Do you know that peanut butter jelly time meme, the dancing banana? It's peanut butter jelly time.
Yes.
Yeah, I was that.
Oh, you were dressed as the peanut butter jelly meme and people were losing their jobs. Amazing. Like, you can't write this shit.
Yes. Yeah, because,
Love it.
Well, here's another thing. Remember, that was the recession. A lot of people don't remember because it's, 10 years ago. So people, that was the beginning of like people, companies shuttering and people losing their jobs and their houses and all that stuff. It's so depressing. Let's talk about other things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you started there. What was kind of I know you said that you were getting people paid to write paragraphs, but what was sort of the turning point that you saw in the early days where people were figuring out, or brands or companies or even the world was figuring out like, hey, wait a minute, there might be something here that we can advertise directly to our consumers, the people we want to talk to through, and I'm using air quotes, but like influencers. And I assume at the beginning, influencers were celebrities because that's who really is influencing people. It wasn't a real job that, somebody living in Mars, Pennsylvania could be an influencer. You had to be on TV or in a movie, I'm guessing.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly it. And see, now we're getting into the history of it. So that moment, that turning point, point was when Ashton Kutcher, a little known Ashton Kutcher.
Who's the executive producer on like so many projects that people don't even realize?
Oh my God. He's also like really into the tech space.
And he invests early and often.
Yes, and very, very early. He was into investing in so many different startups long ago. So he and some news...
See, we just think he's a jackass. Meanwhile...
Oh, he's...
We're a dumbass.
So
Wait,
savvy,
is Ashton a jackass? Yeah, he was jackass.
No. He was that 70s show.
No. Oh, Punked. It was Punked. I'm not thinking.
Punked. Punked.
Yeah. No, I knew that 70s show. I didn't think jackass. Yes, Punked. That's what I meant. So he was punked. So yeah, I guess he's not punking anyone anymore.
No, he's punking us all the way to the bank. So.
Okay, so go on. So Ashton Kutcher, didn't he challenge somebody like, I can't remember, CNN or something like that?
It was some news channel to the first people to be the first one to get 1 million followers on Twitter. 1 million followers on Twitter. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Ashton won.
He won. And by, I want to say by hours. Like he won by hour. Yeah. It was not it was so close. So he won. And at that point was when, because proper credit where it was due, my company, my boss, the head of our company was like, we're going to monetize this. This is a thing. There are 1 million people following this man.
Okay.
Yep. So
I respect that. That's a visionary for sure.
Yes. He was and remains. Okay. So that was the turning point. So Ashton's 1 million mark, that was the first, because after he did it, other people started reaching that 1 million milestone and 2 million. And I remember making lists for my team, that's like, here, the top followed people on Twitter. The highest person maybe had 3 million followers. Can you imagine? Like, you can buy 3 million followers right now.
Well, we don't buy followers, don't tell people that. Like, that's not cool. Well, I remember when... No, it's not. But I remember in the early days of Dance Moms, Twitter was it. Like, I tweeted all the time. And I would, like, just give... And that was still when it was 140 characters. And I grew my following very quickly. And so because I had the highest numbers on Twitter, it was like I was the crown jewel for the network or whatever, because I had the highest followers. And then Instagram kind of came along, and I didn't really care about Instagram because I was like, I don't want to send pictures of myself out. Like, who wants to look at this? Right. But then I obviously changed. But yeah, so I remember those Twitter days for sure. So the first deals were actually on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Lots of reality TV, different TV stars. Pretty much Twitter was the big one for years. That was the place to be.
That was the place to be. So I know the answer to this, but my listeners will die when I ask you this. So who was the first Twitter deal that you brokered? Not necessarily you personally, but your company and what you saw. Or maybe was it your company?
It was our company. And the very first one was for Kim Kardashian. And it was for Armani Exchange. And you can probably look it up.
The floodgates you opened. So Armani Exchange meets Kim Kardashian. Go on, tell us more.
Yeah, literally within 40 minutes, their website was down.
You're kidding.
Within 40 minutes of that tweet going live, the site went down. She broke the internet.
That's insane.
And so
Kim's been breaking the internet for decades.
Oh my God.
Huh.
This is huge. Yeah.
Right.
But the problem, okay, so little behind the scenes, when that stuff happens, it's actually a huge problem because it's a wall. It's like people can't get to the site. Oh no. And so the person paying for it is like, well, y'all broke the internet and now people can't buy my products because the site's down. And so
they're not happy it happened. They're pissed.
Yes, because, we can't ask Kim like the next day to be like, hey, would you mind redoing that? Because the first time you did it, people couldn't access the website. Like of course not.
Right. I would love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation. She would have been like, the price is double. Talk to Chris. I have to pay her commissions.
Yeah. And I do remember what the price of that tweet was. I don't know if I should share it. I don't even know if I'm legally allowed to because I don't remember what was in our paperwork at the time. But I will tell you.
Okay, give me a ballpark. Yeah, give me a hint.
Less than 50,000, more than 25,000.
Holy shit! For a tweet?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's one of my favorite games.
High for a tweet. Okay.
One of my favorite games, don't do this because you'll cry. One of my favorite games is taking the price of someone's tweet and dividing it by the number of characters. So you'd be like, we're paying how many thousands of dollars per character?
That's amazing. I've never thought of it that way. Yeah. That's actually amazing. Especially because Twitter was 140 characters and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, you're like, oh God, but...
And you're like, I get up every morning at 6 a.m. and drag my sorry ass into an office to make like $30,000 a year. Whatever.
Make like 6 characters worth. Yes.
Right. Oh God, that's terrible. But I mean, look, that's just so indicative of the world. So God, that just makes me wonder if she got paid that much for a tweet back in the day, what is she making now?
Oh yeah. God. I mean, there are so many people that are obviously in the millions of dollars, and I have a lot of fun asterisks of people who were up and coming at the time. I mean, Ariana Grande, for years I kept the email.
I remember this. Yes.
Where she was $6,000 for a tweet. Way back when, $6,000. And that's still expensive. I mean, when we first started working, what was the deal? What was the dollar amount for you that was like, I did it, I made it? I've arrived.
I don't remember the dollar amount, but I remember the first deal that Chloe ever got because she got a deal before I did. She actually had the highest followers on Instagram at first, back in the day. Like, look, I know that's changed. I'm not like, flexing or anything like that. I'm just saying at the time, Chloe had the most followers. Yeah, it was a fact. And so you called me or texted me or whatever, and you were like, hey, does Chloe like headphones? And I was like, well, yeah, she's a dancer. She uses headphones all the time. And you said, I have a brand deal. And I'm like, what's that? And you said,
I swear I had no idea. Did say like, what is that?
I did. I didn't know. You're like, I have a brand deal for a headphone company called Beats.
Yeah.
But they're affiliated with QVC. And I was like, oh, I know QVC.
You're like, you had me at QVC. Go on.
I know. Go on. Tell me more.
You're speaking my language.
Said, I know. And you said, okay, so here's the deal. She gets to pick a pair of headphones. And you're like, these are nice headphones. They're like $100. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I get to keep the headphones? And you said, yeah. And then you said, and they'll pay her $1,000. And I was like, for a picture? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, keep going back. Sorry, I don't mean to talk like a Valley girl, but I was just astounded by it. I was like, that is unbelievable. Yeah. I actually went on her Instagram to see if that picture was still there. It's not. Maybe it's archived.
Oh,
who knows?
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. But I just remember thinking that was the easiest $1,000 ever. I will tell you this. That wasn't the moment like Kim that I was like, I made it. But I was like, this is pretty amazing. But I do want to say this just because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about working in the influencer world and like brand deals and all of that. there are some people who just luck into it.
Oh,
like
for sure.
Insert whatever TikTok star you want to talk about who just happen to blow up with hundreds of millions of followers. But there are people in the influencer world who work their asses off to grow the following and the hashtags and the follow for follow and
over years
all of
too.
Years, absolutely years. And it's no longer like the photo that Chloe posted for that deal, that would never cut it today. Like it was a picture on her iPhone that was it was fine. But now anytime you get a brand deal, 99% well, I shouldn't say that. I will say 90% of them are professionally taken. Like you hire someone or somebody in your family learns how to use a camera well. Oh, yeah. They're well lit. Sometimes if the brand is big enough and the deal is big enough, they'll send a crew to capture the footage for you, especially if it's video content.
Because we only have that one shot to get it right. So imagine you're doing a post for something that has a bunch of talking points you have to cover and you don't get it right the first time. You want to talk about influencer divas? There are very few people that will do a reshoot without asking for more money, even though they are the ones that didn't do it right.
You're kidding me.
Oh, absolutely. They're also, depending on how well-known, on how recognizable, famous a person is, sometimes they don't even know what is happening. Christy, you have no idea how many times I've showed up, flown that coach life over to LA, shown up where I'm supposed to be.
You knock on their door at their Beverly Hills mansion, hi. And they're like, listen, our staff is full. We're not hiring.
They're like, we have cleaners, ma'am. I'm like, oh, okay.
Sorry, I'll be at the pool.
Yeah. And I show up there to take the photo or do the video, and that person has no idea what I'm talking about because their team, their managers, their agent, their assistant, their, publicist, whoever, hasn't told them anything. So their team has signed off on the deal. They're ready to collect their check, but that poor person who has to be in the photo is completely thrown for a loop. They're like, amazing. What is this? What do I do? I hold it how? What? Why?
Oh, God. That's amazing to hear that they're getting paid all this money and they have not a clue what they've been obligated to.
One of my favorite stories about flying to take someone's photo is showing up at a young lady's house. The family is lovely to do a photo shoot, various photos, only for this girl to go to a bare knuckle boxing workout class. And then, I show up and her hands are a bloodied mess and I have to make sure they're not in the photo. And that girl is someone that you know.
Wait a second. So how do you hide? I guess she's not holding a product because you see bloody knuckles in a product, right? Did you have her, did you set it on a table and she peeked behind it? I mean, how did you solve that?
We definitely angled the photos properly. She was, she was like, oh my God, I just didn't think, it just didn't occur to me. And that's the thing is it doesn't occur to people that this is essentially, it's a commercial. You're putting a commercial on your Instagram feed, or depending on the deal, the company has the right to use that for whatever purposes they want, however they want, right? Depending on what gets negotiated, of course. So that person isn't thinking oh yeah, I'm sorry, I went and, shaved all my hair off when I'm here to take a photo for this new hair dryer.
I was just going to say, and for a hair product.
Yeah, exactly. But that stuff happens. We had an influencer. I wish we could name drop, but we can't. We can't name drop.
I know. It's all legal. I mean, please. I spend my life tiptoeing around contracts, but it's true. I just want to say something before I hear this next story. I cannot tell you how trained just in this world, how you said you think things set 5 steps through, how trained that I personally have become thinking that, not just for myself, but my kids, just because we've been doing things in the space for so long.
Yeah.
I am constantly scouring the background of a photo or looking if somebody has an
You can't
icon.
have any third-party logos. You can't have, none of that. That's all legal stuff. Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's crazy how you think about that. But I will say, if we are doing something, I will look and I will say okay, you have to take your nail polish off or this or that. I mean, there is something to be said if you're just posting and talking on your story, people real. But for the sponsored stuff, you definitely have to be aware. But go on, tell us your next story.
Yeah, you definitely have to be aware. I've had so many people who, just like you said, they're not aware, and so they've got logos in the background. They're wearing a T-shirt with a big Nike check on it. We can't use that. They've got movie
I think
posters.
It's a swoosh. Hello, you work in this
swoosh,
world.
sorry,
it's a swoosh. It's not
swoosh.
A check.
They are just doing it all over my job, and I can't have that. I'm trying to do my work here. So that's a big problem. Another problem is artwork that you don't own. So for example, any movie posters in the background, like you can't, that's not yours.
Yeah.
You got to take it down. So oftentimes it's sort of embarrassing, but a necessity to have to ask, especially a celebrity, like, hey, can you get a photo of that person? What room are they planning on shooting in or taking our one photo? Can you just make sure there's no movie posters or posters of other celebrities or, sometimes they have photos of them and whoever in the background. Sure. And it's like that person's likeness kind of by proxy is appearing in a commercial photo.
Yeah.
So we don't have the right to use that person's likeness, their name, their face, their whatever in the photo. So we can't, it becomes unusable.
100%. I've had to take photos down. Actually, there was an episode of Dance Moms that they filmed in my house, and I have an Andy Warhol print. I mean, clearly it's a print. And I remember seeing it blurred out on camera, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. But it is. And I mean, on the TV side of things, when you cover logos, because that became a real issue for us, especially you know how like we had the setup with the makeup mirrors. You have all those products there that are being shown, and you can't really show them on TV unless they're sponsored. So we had PAs come with pieces of tape often, or if the girls were dancing and they had a little logo on, say, a pair of like a reflector on their pants that was a logo, it would need to be covered because it's actually called Greeking. For TV. I don't know, for influencer marketing, it's called Take It Down.
Take it down, remove, delete. Yeah, absolutely.
Take it down.
And that's a lot of that is, that's just legal. So sometimes, and I feel bad, because I'm like, oh, you didn't notice. Okay, but that's a legal problem. And I can't tell the judge when Nike chooses like, well, they didn't want to take it down. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Right. And they expected to be paid. So we had to post it. Like, you deal, Nike. No.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to go toe to toe with Nike's lawyers. I'm just saying.
No, I wouldn't either. I have, to this day, never been in a litigious situation, so I'd like to keep it that way.
Please knock on wood. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, so in the early stages of everything, did you really feel like, did you have foresight? Were you like looking in your crystal ball? Were you like, this is going to be a major, major thing? Did you know that what was coming in that world because you kind of were on the flip side of it?
Oh my God.
There's my Roomba. My husband is starting the Roomba in my room. I couldn't make this up. Okay, it's quiet now. Sorry about that. Yes, this is how my life really goes.
Kick that Roomba down the stairs. Show it who's boss.
Well, he has it on a remote control from his office, like an app on his phone, and he's psychotic about the Roomba. So he's having it like vacuum my office. But it's fine. I disabled the Roomba. Don't worry. Go on. So did you think it was going to be a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Christy, come on, you know me. I was clueless. And also think about all of the social media apps and, different programs and stuff that pop up. They disappear left and right. So like who knew what was going to last? Who knew where it was going to evolve? Who knew whether or not the public would accept this? Because for a long time, there was no FTC mandated disclosure. So there were a lot.
That's true.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that were like, oh, well, I don't want to be deceived. So I want ads to say disclosure, this is paid kind of thing. And
it's kind of obvious who's being paid for an ad. Although I think people have gotten better about it.
Definitely. And now it's such a normal thing. Like I said, these sponsored content is very much viewed as, it's just a commercial. It's we interrupt my normal feed for this photo of me in these Beats headphones. Like that's it. And move past it.
Yep. Yeah. And people who are like, oh, wait, Chloe uses pink Beats. Maybe I need pink Beats. It's like Regina George.
Oh, yeah. Where did you get those? Is there a link? Let me have it. Let me click it. Let me buy it.
Oh, my God. I will post things throughout the day. I'm trying to be better at sharing links because it's just not I do it, but I don't do it on the daily. I know there's a lot of influencers that morning, noon, and night, they're posting links. That's not something that I just think about. I have a million other things. Yeah. However, it's easier for me to share a link from like Jump than for my inbox to blow up or my DMs to blow up with, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? So I've tried to be very deliberate with sharing things now because I get asked all the time. And look, I mean, if you want to know, I'll tell you, but I hate when it's like, because so many of you are asking about my skincare. You know, like we know nobody's asking. You're just trying to sell it.
Don't nobody want to know about your skincare? Yeah,
nobody
totally
cares. Although I will say this, I do get asked about my skincare all the time because I'm a lady of a certain age.
And you have people great skin.
Like, thanks. People are like, hey, what's your skincare routine? And I just can't bring myself right now, maybe I'll get there, to be like, this is my skincare routine because so many of you have been asking. Like, I feel like an asshole. So
yeah, I can totally see that. That doesn't seem like you.
I'd have to do it in my way, you know, like I'd have to say.
Plus, you'd have to show all of the, you know, all the chicken blood you put on your face or whatever.
Right. Or no, what I'm really afraid of is showing like the hoarder background of my my countertop and my vanity because I could really be a nomination for hoarders.
Like there's my 36-step routine.
Not my 36-step routine, like my 474,000 products because I have a shopping problem and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm sorry. I've tried everything. But see, that's why I would be good at it because I've literally tried everything. Like if there's something out there, I'll buy it. I'm like an influencer's dream. I buy everything and then I try it and I'm like, that didn't really work. Like,
oh my God. But you influenced me. You influenced me. That one time you had that weird magnetic mask and I love a face mask. I love a face mask.
That thing was wild.
And I was like, I'm going to go try this. And I did. And I got this, the second time I did it, the first time was great and I loved it. The second time I got some of those metal filaments like in the corner of my eye and that was it. I was done. I was like, I'm going to sue Christy.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you would have scratched your cornea, I needed to have an FTC disclosure that I cannot be responsible. Actually, That's more like a Surgeon General's warning. Like I cannot be responsible for a scratched cornea. Dude, please don't sue me.
Ma'am, let me say though, that is a very real thing in sponsored content. Disclaimers out the wazoo, especially for anything ingestible, you know, edible, anything you eat, those weird ass detox teas and stuff. All of that kind of skeezy, anything that has to do with your health. Definitely the right company would have a legal team reviewing that stuff because
1,000%.
Heaven forbid, Veronique, who is not an influencer, buys what you told her to. Scratchers or cornea, guess who I'm coming after?
Yep, you're coming after me. You're not going after
I would come after
the
you.
company.
Yeah.
Yes, you would fail miserably. My homeowners only cover so much. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I've done ads or sponsor content for a few products that were ingestible, but that I actually use and love and found effective. But just shooting that content, of course.
That's
the absolutely. But just the back and forth with all the legal steps, it was very labor intensive. And when I say like back and forth, I mean, if I said one word wrong, but still trying to make it in my own voice, they were like, nope, can't use that. You know, like if I used the wrong, oh God, I don't know all of my English breakdown, you know, I would be terrible at saying like, what part of the sentence is this? But I don't remember, but just saying like of instead of in or whatever, you know, they were like, you can't say that. And I'm like, oh God, okay. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, the Food and Drug Administration, there are certain rules you have to follow in order for something to be labeled organic, for example, it has to follow certain things. Or in order for a company to use terms like sugar-free, or less sugar than normal. I don't know. There's like different phrases. So we have to make sure that our influencers don't just call something sugar-free because you know, they want to, or organic or whatever, because there are very legal definitions for those words and how you use them when advertising. And that's what influencer marketing, it's all advertising. So a lot of people don't forget that we have to abide by those rules. Same thing for like working with different types of influencers. I know you know this because I've done this with you. When you use children for posts, that's, you know, there are child labor laws. They can't be filming content in the middle of a school day. They can't, you know, they can't do anything dangerous. Like
Nope. You have to have a work permit. You have to put so much money into their Coogan account, but it's really a trust. Yes. Yep. For sure. Oh my God, the Roomba. Okay, so
that Roomba is.
I mean,
that Roomba's the boss.
It is. Well, I think the boss is downstairs thinking that he's the boss of the Roomba, but he doesn't know that I'm seriously or secretly the boss. But okay, so I'm dying to know, because talking about all these products, what is like the weirdest product or deal or fun, maybe not weird, but like fun, unique, interesting product deal that you've seen?
Oh my God. A lot of weird face gadgets. And
you mean like rub this on your face and it will have electrodes that take away 14 years of hard drinking?
Yes, that type of thing. And also when we were first doing this, remember 10 years ago, a lot of that stuff, it just seemed like futuristic weirdo BS stuff. Like the blue lights for your teeth. I couldn't get anyone to say yes to that. And now they're all over the place.
Stop, really?
Like, could not find any. People were like, what? I'm not going to put a flashlight on my face. So like nobody said yes to that.
Oh my God. Have you ever seen those big LED masks that people wear and they look like, like they look like Jason from Friday the 13th, but like illuminated? Yeah, totally. I mean, I have one of those.
Of course you do. It's on your hoarders pile.
It's on my hoarders pile and it's part of my skincare routine. I'm just saying.
See? Let me think. Product wise, I mean, that's really the one that stands out. Well, I have also had a hard time certain products that people just don't want to post about. Like we had companies come to us that's like, okay, this is for bald men, so we want hair loss people who have lost their hair. And I'm like, okay, now I have to find you like bald celebrities and then pitch them a product of
that they have to admit that they are bald.
Yeah, and they have to address it in a way that sells this product. Like no one's going to say yes to that.
Correct.
So surprise, surprise, nobody said yes to that.
Well, I remember, without saying any names, there was a controversial place that wanted to advertise, because I remember you saying something about it in passing. Yeah. And I don't want to call it out, but it was just around the time of a very eye-opening documentary, and no one you couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't.
Nobody. And and that's also because it becomes a connection thing. Like you become the face, even if you don't want to, for your one post, right? Become the face, you become associated with it. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Nobody wanted to touch that. It didn't matter what the dollar amount was. It just wasn't happening. And then we have on the other side, some brands who fall in love with certain personalities, with certain celebrities. And even if we're like, okay, that person has no followers, they're like, we don't care. We want them. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Or, that person performs very poorly. So your goal is sales. They will not be able to do that. And they're like, we don't care. We want them. We need them. And you're like, okay.
Really? That's interesting. Well, but I think that just speaks to the fact that sometimes brands, I think they're getting better, but for a long time they don't understand how this works. Because there's sometimes that like a brand, say for instance, it's $100,000 car or something. And sometimes those people will come to you and they're like, we need swipe ups. And you're like, nobody is swiping up for like, a Mercedes Benz, G-Wagon. I'm sorry.
Like, not my followers. Sorry.
This will perform poorly. But if you want brand recognition, sure thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you see that, those types of posts will normally saturate. You'll see like 20 influencers doing the same, I don't know, the same card title or the same vacation package or the same, airline. Yeah, that happens regularly.
I can always tell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have one more, and then we can move on.
Sure.
So I had a brand, a very well-known adult diaper brand. And they were like, we want celebrities to do this adult diaper. And we were like, okay, well.
Oh, celebrities and adult diaper. Keep going. I can't wait to hear how this goes.
Yeah. So we were like, okay. So we tried to strategize and we put, we wanted to put a funny spin on it. Otherwise, there's no way we could get anybody to say yes. And the list of their wish list was insane. Their wish list was insane.
Can you tell us anyone on the wish list no?
Kris Kardashian was on it. Jamie.
Well, Kris Kardashian did one.
Yeah, I know. Ultimately, she did. It wasn't. That wasn't hers.
You're going to say Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Jamie Lee Curtis was on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, because she has gray hair, so now everybody thinks she's old.
Yeah, right?
And Jamie did Activia, or yes, she did Activia, and she was kind of that first celebrity commercial that kind of broke down the stigma of celebrities doing commercial work, sort of, I feel like. But anyway, so else? Jamie Lee Curtis, Kris Kardashian.
So that was the vein they were going for, kind of like youthful, hot still, right? But we were like, no one's really going to get into this. So we put a funny spin on it. We were like, what about, what about a Betty White or something funny? Like, what about a Cloris Leachman?
Yeah.
And they came back to us and they were like, female incontinence is no laughing matter. And we were like, oh,
they did not.
100%. 100%. So we were like, okay, we're going to go with what you want. And of course, nobody said yes.
Yeah. It's no laughing matter. Well, I mean, car insurance isn't a laughing matter, but Geico has certainly tapped into that car insurance, laughing matter thing. Some of their commercials are insanely funny.
Yeah,
like the one, don't become your parents.
There's a right way to do it, so that's also part of the tricky part of influencer marketing is we often don't get to talk to the team that comes up with the big ideation, because sometimes it's just an advertising agency that reaches out and says, well, this is what we're doing. And, our Super Bowl commercial is going live and we want people to tweet about it. And then we're like, can you show us the commercial? And they're like, no, it's Super Bowl commercial. Nobody gets to see it until the day of. So we're like, okay, well,
oh God,
how are we going to get people to say yes to this if they don't know what's in the commercial?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm sure you do have people that will say yes. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, there's always some.
Right, but it's more difficult, for sure.
Yep. Fun people, anytime we've had to do anything with games, board games, or, I've had just the best experiences having to do with board games. Those are normally really fun.
I like stuff like that. I like anything that's sort of fun, family oriented. Like those are easy to shoot. They're fun. They are very natural and organic. So I agree. And I'm sure that would be fun. So okay, I have to take out this part. I don't know how to lead into this question. Are you going to tell me your own?
Okay. I can lead into it. Was this is this about divas?
No, I'll get to that in a minute. So you obviously get to meet a lot of people that, are celebrities. You're talking to people or their teams. So is there anybody that you've met that you're like, totally fangirling over? Like, I will tell you who I would have fangirled over. Unfortunately, he's passed away. I'm just saying.
Oh, I have one of those too.
Mine was Corey Haim.
Oh, okay.
I was madly obsessed with Corey Haim. Yes, the Coreys.
Yeah. Well, that ages you a little.
Well, look, I'm old, okay?
Mine is not the Coreys, but my person is older than than the Coreys somehow.
Well, who's your person?
Robin Williams.
Like that was your crush?
Just somebody I really wanted to work with, and somebody who I thought if we did sponsored content would be really fun to, do something
okay.
with.
Well, I don't think Corey Haim is fun for sponsored content. I just meant like that was my celebrity crush as a kid that I would have like dropped over dead if he would have served me a burger at like In-N-Out, because that's where he was in life.
Got
it. Robin Williams. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I would agree that would be fun. He would be totally fun to work with.
Yeah, right? He would be just a dream, I feel like. Rest in peace. Yes. Rest in peace, King.
Rest in peace. Oh, there was a really good documentary about him not too long ago.
I can't watch him. No, I can't.
Oh my God. Well, it's so interesting because his list of friends that he kind of came up with is insane. Like it's insane, the stories they have. Like he was there the night Belushi died.
Yeah. He and Robert De Niro stopped by.
Yeah, they were at Chateau, and he actually said it should have been me.
Oh God.
No, I don't think he did. You know who said it should have been me?
Here's more. Here's Christy's famous fake trivia hour. Continue.
Fake trivia. I think it was Carrie Fisher who actually said it should have been me.
Oh God, I love. Carrie Fisher,
Robin
by
was
the way.
there.
Her biographies are amazing. I love Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I think yes, I can see where you would love Carrie Fisher. You're like an empowered woman, and she took no shit. I actually haven't read them, but they are on my list. I know I need to. I would love them. I'm sure of it.
You would.
Yeah,
I have read
of
them.
course.
You would love them.
Of course. Of course.
Okay,
and she struggles with a lot of things that I think people need to talk about, but that's a different podcast.
She definitely, speaking of people who break stigmas, she definitely did that for women's mental health and addiction in a brazen and hilarious way. She made us laugh with her at her pain. And I appreciate that.
100%. The girl put her ashes in a Xanax container. Did you see the giant Xanax pill?
Yes, I did.
I mean, please. It's brilliant even after death.
But also the advertising part of my head is like, I wonder how much Xanax paid for that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Do you think that was sponsored? I didn't see a hashtag.
Absolutely not.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so this question is one of my favorite questions that I came up to ask you because I know the answer to this, but I want to hear your stories. And that is about the influencers who think they're more important than they are.
Oh my God.
And those would be the divas.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't appreciate it.
I mean, I've never seen... So there are celebrities who will be accommodating in this and that, and they don't have this insane list of, I need red M&Ms in my dressing room. There are influencers on the exact opposite side of that spectrum who expect everything handed to them, like a red carpet rolled out simply because they have a K on their like Instagram follower list.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So let me set one definition here to all of our listeners. A diva does not have to be a female. I have definitely experienced male divas on this side.
I think those are called divos. I'm just saying, in case you want to put that in your like little notebook, make a note of it. Divos.
I'll have to verify that, Christy, because I don't know how much of this, this grammar stuff you said
Again, though, I often am sharing false information, but you can use it. Look, I patented the word prostitute. Okay, I patented prostitute. I'm going to patent divo. So please continue.
Okay, so I have had both male and female influencers with major problems, and I'm talking like, I show up to the location to do the photos, and not only are they hours late, they never show up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, stuff like that. I show up and wait for hours for somebody to get through our content with us, and they're literally throwing a tantrum, like throwing themselves on their hotel bed. Yes, that's
I know that story.
Yeah.
Can you tell that story without using names? Because that story is amazing.
Yeah, sure. We can, you know what? Let's give it a go. And your editor can just bleep the name if I say it by accident.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
And please promise me, because I don't want to get sued.
Oh my God. I would never. I'm not trying to out you on Christy's couch. This is not that kind of I'm not a reality show. I'm here to protect the innocent.
Okay, that's me. I'm the innocent. Here we go. So the year is 20, I want to say 15 or 16. Okay.
Very, like, the clues are there. Follow the breadcrumbs and you can figure out the answer to this riddle. I promise you.
We're working with a big tech company, and the big tech company has well over six figures for, count it, one YouTube video. Well over six figures.
Over six figures.
For one YouTube video. And they want a very hot, he's so hot right now. Like, they want this, they want this kid. And they want this kid.
You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great. Keep going.
Thank you. And so we do the deal. We sign the paperwork. He's into it. We have these calls leading up to the actual day we're shooting the YouTube video. And we're doing everything we can to take the workload off of this influencer because it's so specific. We don't want to risk the chance of them getting it wrong, right? So we're like, we're going to write the script for you. You just approve it. We're going to write the caption for you, the description, everything. You just approve it. You change whatever you want, but you approve it. We'll do the work. He doesn't show up for a single one of our phone call of our like reviewing all the stuff phone calls. Not one.
Oh,
his team. Yeah, not one.
The campaign review, right?
Yeah. The reviewing the script, all that stuff. Not one. We ultimately don't know what he wants to do because he didn't show up to any of our meetings. So we make like 5 different versions just in case, right?
Right. You're covering your ass, your bases, all of it. You're like, one of these has to work, right?
Yeah. We got to have a starting point. It's going to be one of these. So come the day, I fly on a red eye because it's all the way on the West Coast. I fly out there from Orlando. I show up at the hotel. I'm waiting. They're 2 hours late. He finally shows up. I talked to the hotel manager ahead of time because we needed a public place that we could shoot where we wouldn't be bothered. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So right. And he's very popular. Like very
literally is being surrounded. Like when he walks into the hotel, is surrounded by 20 or 30 other, teens. This is a teen YouTube star. And so I bring him to the room and I'm like, okay, this is where we're going to shoot. He's like, I hate it.
Oh,
like,
God.
Okay, well, this is what we have. So, it'll just going to take 2 hours. We're going to film this thing. It'll be great. And I'll get out of your hair and you'll be done. He's like, no, I'm not doing this. We're like, oh my God, well, you have to. You signed a contract.
Right.
He's like, well, I'm not going to do this unless we shoot in my hotel room. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So now I'm a grown ass woman following this kid into his hotel room. Right.
Like, right. Which every girl, like it's the job every girl dreams of, except for you.
Yeah. Except for me. I don't have time for this. Okay. Right. I don't have time for this. I'm calling his manager. I'm letting him know. His manager's like, oh yeah, his tour manager is on site. He's at the hotel. Here's his number.
So 2 different managers.
2 different managers. So I go to his room. It's like a suite, right? He also doesn't like my equipment. He doesn't like my camera. He doesn't like any of that. So he's like, I have a cameraman. We're going to use my camera. I'm like, great. But sure. Here are, fine. Here are the 5 different options. Which of these stories do you want to do? He hates all of them.
Of course he hates them all.
Yeah, of course.
But he didn't show up for the meetings.
No. So I'm like, okay, let me rewrite this for you. What do you want to do? Like, let's come up with a story together and I'll make sure that it meets all of the talking points we need it to meet. Like I'll do that in post. Right. Okay. So then
editing's amazing.
Yeah. He just flat out starts messing with me, Christy. He's like, well, I want to force you to get a tattoo. I'm like, okay, great. Like, yeah, I'm down. I'm here for it. And in my head, I'm like, okay, what, where can I put these boundaries? Like, okay, nothing on the face, clearly.
I wish so much that you had that tattoo so that I could be like, oh, there's your blankety blank tattoo.
Then he immediately tweeted like, oh, I'm about to force some chick to get a tattoo, lol, something like that. That I was like, this child. So, it's like super mad. I'm condensing this, by the way, because this was over hours. Like there was.
But wait, please tell us the part where your thighs are quivering, because that's my favorite visual.
So I'm about to get there. So he could not come. Mind you, this is a well-known YouTube star who comes up with all kinds of things. And his team is like, he's a professional. He will be able to do this for you in no time. I'm like, great.
He's 12.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, that was another thing. He's like, well, I'm not going to be in this unless my friends are in it. And I was like, okay, sir. They are not part of this contract. And secondly, they are minors. I cannot put them in this commercial content.
Like their moms need to be here to sign off on this.
Yeah, without their parents' consent. So I'm like, okay, what's it going to take? We can't pay them, because like that's not what. But you can have them in the video, I guess. So I asked for their mom's phone numbers. I call up a mom. She's like,
oh my God, you have to call mom.
Yeah, she's like, well, whatever. Oh my God, you have to bleep that.
Okay, yep. Got it.
It happens. Oh my God. Okay, so whatever he's getting, I want my son to get. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So then I just tell the kid, you can't be in the video. Sorry. So he gets all mad. And then his friend, my talent, he gets mad that his friend can't be in the video. Literally throws himself on his bed and just refuses. Having
a temper tantrum, like the baby that he is.
And just refuses to move, to talk, right? So I call his manager. His manager's like, yeah, he never does this. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know how it goes. I'm like, okay. All right.
Thanks for all your help.
Yep. So you would think
that he would be more invested in getting it done because he's getting 10 or 20% of that commission.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But
this kid was so hot right now, Christy, that like
it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. they could F it up and it wouldn't, no skin off their back. So they had something else lined up.
6-figure contract, no biggie.
Oh, right? No biggie for us. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing the math. How much is every character worth?
Yeah, exactly. How much would a tattoo cost me?
Exactly.
Like emotionally, like.
Yep. Plus the removal process. Plus
lasers.
that special lotion you got to buy to put on it so it doesn't dry out.
Plus the babysitter I need to hire while I go get the tattoo removed.
Yeah, exactly. It's all adding up.
Yes.
So I update my team. I'm like, here's where we are. We have no content. He hasn't chosen any of the video plans for us. He also has not signed off on any of our tweets. There's like accompanying tweets that he literally just has to sign, and it's not happening. So I called my team. I let them know. They were like, okay, well, we'll update the client. So they call the big tech company. Big tech company calls me on my cell and says, hey, we have like the president of our, whatever department is in charge of this project. He wants to talk to you and he wants to talk to him and see if maybe he can inspire him, kind of get some teamwork going. I'm like, okay. So so he calls me on Skype and I introduce myself. I'm Veronique. I'm running point on this. We're going to get this content today. So I'd like to introduce you to our talent young YouTuber. And I told him, like, I'm motioning with my hand, like, come to the laptop. And he's not.
And he's like sitting there with double middle fingers, like, nope.
Like face down on the bed, So I grab the laptop and I swing it around and I'm trying to be level with the bed. So I'm like crouching, and you've seen me. I'm 5'2", 900 pounds. So my legs are like shaking uncontrollably because I have no lower body strength or upper body strength. So like my arms are quivering because I can't hold a 2-pound laptop, and my legs are shaking because I can't hold myself up. And also, this is a big deal. Like, this man on Skype is a big deal. And he starts talking.
And your talent's face down.
Oh my God.
Like pouting and hitting the bed, screaming like, no.
I don't want to do this. I want to go to Toys R Us or whatever. He wanted to go to some place where a bunch of his fans were waiting. And
God.
Yeah. So he wanted to, he had tweeted out earlier that maybe he was going to go eat at like the Ruby Tuesday. And so like 400 people had converged on this Ruby Tuesday. Right.
Jesus God.
Yeah. So okay.
This is real life. Like, none of this is
actually
made
happened.
up.
Oh yeah. This actually happened. This is the first time, by the way, in my career, my illustrious career, that I've ever walked away in this state. So we'll get here. So the gentleman from the tech company is trying to talk to our YouTuber, and he's not, just not in any way engaged. And our YouTuber puts his hand up, like a talk to the hand motion, to the guy and says, shut up for a second. And then turned to the side to one of his friends who was still in the room and was like, you see how I can do that? And
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I was mortified. It was such an embarrassing moment. Even today, like, I'm speechless. I can't imagine.
You can't have to be mortified. I mean, I guess because he's your talent,
but the level of disrespect. Yeah.
Wow. See, don't you wish you could like name names, because then this kid would never work again.
Yeah, I totally do. And so I immediately turned the laptop back around. I'm like, oh, we're having technical difficulties. Just close it.
Bye. Yeah. Bye. Sorry. I can't hear you.
And I immediately called his agent, and I told him, and his manager, and I told him, and his on-site manager, his tour manager, and I told him, and all of them were like, oh, this is it's so weird. Well, he's a professional, so he'll figure it out. Just give him. Maybe just leave him alone for a minute. And he's got the ideas in front of him, and he's got his cameraman and his equipment. So he's set up for success. Just, maybe a little less micromanaging and a little more independence, and he'll knock it out. And
that's usually how kids work, right?
Well, honestly, though,
they take initiative.
Well, here's the thing with influencers. They do take initiative because a lot of times it is literally 12 and 13-year-olds that build empires for themselves on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
It's true. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I don't know this, I don't know his process, his artist process. So I'm going to go down to the hotel and I'm going to eat for the first time today. And his tour manager's
maybe that's why you were quivering. You were quivering
I was
because
so hungry.
You were so hungry.
6-hour flight. So the tour manager's like, let's leave him. He's got this. I'm like, you know what? You're right. He does got this. Let's go eat. So he treats me to a little salad because it's the West Coast, so I can't eat anything.
It's LA. That's the only option. You have salad or you have sushi.
Yeah, and I think literally I got salad and the tour manager got sushi.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. I've spent a lot of time in LA.
And
I get it.
A $26 bottle of water. So
100%. Yes.
While we're eating, he gets a buzz on his phone. I'm like, oh, thank God, progress, right? So he goes, yeah. He looks at his phone. He's like, okay, he's decided not to do this, and he's going go-karting. So I just wanted to give you that update.
Fuck. Okay, and then did you go jump in front of a car on the 101?
That's exactly what happened. I was dead. That was the first time I ever left an influencer without my deliverables, without my content. First time ever.
Wait, so he didn't do it?
Not a single thing.
No, I thought he ended up doing it.
No.
What happened with the brand?
So, okay. So as you know, in the upper echelon celebrity world, they do what's called pay or play. So we had to, and this is very common. You pay up front, normally half.
Yep.
You pay up front because you're reserving that, that influencer's time. And so you have to pay for it. And that is non-refundable. And so he just never got paid the other half, but he still had to be paid his pay or play amount.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And actually, I think I'm wrong about that. I think that was the plan, but either his team or my team had not physically countersigned the agreement yet. So we were able to like pull it really quick and be like, nope.
Good.
I think that's how
I'm
it
glad
went down.
to hear that.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I thought you actually ended up with the deliverables. I thought he cooperated. No. Oh my God. Oh, no. And you probably got on the plane like, wah, wah.
Oh, you know what? I'm not embarrassed because I'm human. I cried. And
I bet. I would have been sobbing.
Yeah, I was. And I called the CEO of our company, and I was so apologetic because I have from day one, I mean, remember, I was the one who raised my hand to do the blog project. Like I've always strived and tried to be the woman that you talk to your chapters about being. If you want something, you get it, step up, show them what you can do. And this 100%. Was a big opportunity for me to be able to do that, not only for my company, but for myself. Like I wanted to be able to do that, and I wasn't able to. And the thing that brought me down was like a petty teenager, a selfish, like that's, that was it.
I hope you've risen up over this and used it as a lesson, and know that you just persevere in the face of adversity.
As you can tell, I'm not bitter at all.
No, not bitter in the least, but you have an amazing party story.
Yeah, I do. And it's much better when you can drop the name.
I mean, it is, because the name is good, but all the clues are there. I would love to hear people guess. We cannot confirm nor deny, but just, if you guessed in my latest post about this,
ooh.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. See, do you like that?
Yeah.
Well, we have talked for quite some time, but I would have you back any day of the week. So you collect more stories and come back and tell all of them to us, because they are fascinating and fun. And we didn't even get to the part where I was out with you one night and you shaved your head because, that's not even an influencer story.
Do you know why I did that?
Because I don't know. Were you on drugs and you couldn't have it show up in the drug test? Why did you do that?
Yeah, but that's not why.
Okay.
It's LA. I was on drugs, but that's not why I cut my hair. No, I was not.
No.
Say no
Just
to drugs.
disclaimer, you were not on drugs.
No, and I never have been. So actually, you had introduced me to, I'm not sure if
Tina,
yeah, your publicist at the time, right? Or just
at the time, yep.
Yeah, okay, Tina. And you know what? She just looks so fucking cool. And I was like, I don't fit in anywhere. And I had one of those existential moments where I was like, who am I? What am I? What defines me? And yeah, I wanted to do something that showed me that I was in control of my life. So I was like, I'm gonna cut my hair. I'm gonna do that side shave everyone's doing. I'm gonna do that. And I did do that.
I was getting my nails done, and you left and went next door and came back with like one half of your head shaved. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. It literally was like 30 minutes. Yeah, you were like, what are you doing? And I was
it's funny that you said I wanted to prove I'm in control of my life. I think meanwhile at that time, were you in your 30s yet or were you still in your late 20s?
Oh, God. I think I was in my 30s.
Okay, so you were in control of your life at that point. You didn't need to shave your head to prove it to anyone, but I appreciated that I was part of that.
Yeah, you were there for that. Mm-hmm.
I was there for that.
And I came home and my daughter was like, what happened?
And you're like, Mommy got kidnapped and then someone shaved my head as ransom, because you can't admit that to your child. Like, I thought this was a good idea.
Like,
because those are the types of things that we try to prevent them from doing.
I was like, Mommy's cool now. Look at her. See?
And then did she look at you and say, if you say you're cool, that automatically makes you uncool? Because that's what my kids say.
Yes. Yes, she did. Mm-hmm. She was 5 at the time. And
right.
She did. And
she put you in your place.
Yeah. And taught me a lesson. And you know what? I stay in my lane now. And I don't do any of the cool things.
Don't do them. There's no good outcome from trying to be cool. Trust me, I know.
No. And yet I have literally the coolest job. Like, this is my job, and it's so much fun.
It is.
And
it is a really fun job.
Thank you for inviting me to walk through this journey with you.
I'm so happy. I was really excited for this conversation because I do think everybody would find this fascinating. I can't wait to hear the feedback. And I definitely want to have you come back and tell us more stories, because there is about 700 that you didn't even touch the tip of the iceberg on.
No.
That I've heard that are brilliant and hysterical. And it just kind of gives you the insight to the wild madness that is influencer marketing. So thank you to one of the pioneers. Thank you for paving the way for the rest of us to make a career out of this. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You stand on my shoulders, and
I do.
And I would like you to get off because I have no upper body strength or lower body strength.
Okay. I'm stepping down now. Thank you for coming. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. Are you fascinated? I am beyond fascinated. I could talk to V all day, obviously, because that was a very long interview. However, I think her stories are worth listening to. I definitely want to have her back on the pod another day or for another episode, because I know she has more stories to tell and I am dying to hear them, which I think you guys would love as well, right? I mean, I just feel like we would all love to hear more of this, because it's sort of like pulling the curtain back and getting a glimpse into this really wild world. And it's definitely the Wild West, like influencer relations. There's not really like a whole lot of, nobody knows where it's going. But I do have something to admit. I'm so freaking embarrassed to admit this. Okay. So when V and I were finished with that call, I obviously hung up and thanked her and all of those things. And I said to her, I was like, okay, who was the girl with the boxing hands? Like, who did that? You are going to die when you hear who it was. Oh my God, I am so embarrassed to say this. It was my freaking daughter. It was Chloe. Chloe went boxing without her gloves on right before V came. She flew to Pittsburgh to do a major deal with a major brand. I don't want to say exactly who it was, but it's a major retailer. And I totally forgot it was my child who went and had the bloody hands. And here I am being all indignant in the interview, like, who would do that? I try to be responsible. You're an asshole, Christy, because it was you. I cannot believe I did it. And I really can't believe I forgot. So she was like, Christy, it was a little girl named Chloe Lukasiak. And I was like, oh my God, it was me. It was us. I mean, it's not me, it's Chloe, but I was her guardian. I was signing the contracts at the time, and I was clearly responsible for her misbehavior. So V, I'm sorry. Thankfully, you are a master at hiding things like that. And now you guys know that I'm a horrible influencer, momager, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So let me know if you want to hear more stories like this, because I think these are really fun. But now it is time to get to my favorite part of the episode. And that is where I take your questions. So a lot of you are now writing in on the @Christy's Couch Instagram, which please drop your questions there. And I'm curious because so many of you have been talking about, where you're listening from. I would love to know where you're listening from. So screenshot, the podcast right now, like the home screen that you're listening, and then tag me in it. Tag both @Christy Lukasiak and @Christy's Couch and tell me where you're listening from. I'm dying to go through and see where some of our listeners are. And I will definitely share those on my story and the Christy's Couch Instagram as well. So where are you guys at? Or that's not proper English at all. Where are you from? Where are you listening? Dying to know. I am in Mars, Pennsylvania. So if you're ever in the area, stop by and say hey. Okay, so let's get to these questions. So the first question says, "Hi, Christy. I was wondering if you'd be able to give me some advice on your podcast." Yes, welcome to my couch. Have a seat, get comfy. It says, "I recently started dating this guy who I've liked for a year and a half. We have this amazing connection and all of my close friends really like him. When my parents met him, they told me afterwards that we shouldn't be together and that he isn't good enough for me. Since I still live at home during the summers, they banned him from visiting the house and from me from visiting him. How much should I let their approval influence me?" Okay, I have some initial thoughts and questions about this situation, but obviously this is not a two-way conversation, so I'm just going to speculate a little bit and maybe give you my best guess answer. So you have this amazing connection. You liked him for a year and a half. So I feel like after a year and a half, maybe you know kind of who he is, but then when your parents met him, they felt that he isn't good enough for you. Here's the thing. I know that we sometimes think our parents are out to get us or to spoil us. Not spoil us, but like spoil any fun that we want to have. But if your parents had such a strong reaction to him, there might be a reason, and it may be worth considering just listening with a little bit of an open mind, because sometimes parents can see things that we don't necessarily can see, or we can't necessarily see, if that makes sense. So I would hear them out. And I mean, you live at home during the summers and look, you live at home, you live under the roof. So obviously you have to respect that, but that's not really what concerns me. What concerns me is the last question. It's how much should I let their approval influence me? Here's the deal. Like, your parents are going to be your parents for the rest of your life. And being in a relationship with someone that your parents don't like is going to strain that relationship with your parents for eternity. So if this is like the end all be all person that you're going to ultimately end up with and marry, then you just have to be prepared that your relationship with your parents is going to be different. And if that's not important, or if that's something that you're fine with, then by all means go for it. But if it's something that's going to really negatively affect you and you're close with your parents and you don't want to have that distance in the future, then I would really take into consideration their approval. I mean, we don't have to have your parents approve everything, but if you're dating someone and it's going to create that sort of, rift between your parents, that's definitely something pretty serious to consider. So I would really think long and hard about it. I would. I really, really would. At least that's how I feel. And I've seen it from both sides, both the dater and the parent. So I'm just telling you, it's usually a struggle. I wish I had a better answer for you, but it's true. It's usually a struggle. Okay, so let's do another one. La, la, la. Oh God, I have to remember, just because there's a microphone does not mean I'm invited to sing to you. There was another one. Da, da, da. No, I'm so sorry. Where did it go? Okay. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. Oh no, I just read that one. Oh, you guys, I am the worst. I'm so sorry. I had it screenshotted and now I can't find it. Oh, well. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hi, Christy. I love following you and your family, and I'm also a fellow Pittsburgh resident. Hey, girl. Hey, black and gold. Go Steelers. Or go Penguins, I guess now. I listened to your podcast last week and wanted to submit a question request for advice. I had a boyfriend of 8 years. We were high school sweethearts, lived together, talked about getting engaged, but I found out in September he was sleeping with someone else. Talk about making 2020 worse. I moved out the same day I found out, and I never looked back. What advice do you have for someone who's been cheated on? And do you think you could ever forgive someone after that? Would you ever reach back out to him or forgive him? We are from the same small town, so it's inevitable that we will see each other again someday. Also, any advice to get your confidence back? I have actually been seeing another guy, but I've really been struggling with critics saying it's too soon and labeling it as a rebound. But I could see a future with this guy. Any advice? Oh, goodness. Yes. Okay. So I have a lot of advice, actually. So first of all, here's what I'm going to say. Once a cheater, always a cheater, I feel like. But I mean, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but it sounds like you're looking to reach out to him and forgive him. And it doesn't seem like he's begging for your forgiveness or trying to prove himself to you. So just based on that alone, I would say it's time to kind of put that one to rest and move on. I know it was a very long time together. I am certain that you are heartbroken. I know that it is going to be a tough road. So would you reach back out to him? I wouldn't. I wouldn't reach back out to him because you're just going to get trapped back into that same cycle. And it seems like you've made a pretty clean break right now. And sometimes I feel like women or men, we all tend to kind of keep a tie, like one hand back in that old relationship. And that just makes it even harder to move on. It sounds like you've already started that journey, which is the hardest. And any confidence to get any advice to get your confidence back, 100%. That whole relationship and cheating had nothing to do with you. I feel like we always blame ourselves for others' infidelity. That's on him. If he wants to cheat and be that guy, then that is nothing that you did. So that should not affect your confidence. If anything, you should be grateful that you didn't end up married to this guy because, it's a lot easier to be cheated on when you're young and single and you can go out than if you've been with somebody for, let's say, 15, 20 years and you have 2 kids and you're trying to take care of a family and then you find out they cheat. So this might have actually been kind of a blessing. Also, I'm not entirely shocked that if you guys have been together that long that he cheated, especially if you were high school sweethearts. Like he's never dated anyone besides you. So again, there's always that temptation, and I think people naturally are curious. So as far as the other part of the question that you've been struggling with critics saying it's too soon, who cares? Oh, there's all my dogs. They're saying hello. Who cares? You don't have to answer to anyone. You're an adult. If people have their opinion, great. Unless you're specifically asking them for their opinion, why do you care? I would just kind of be like, you know what? That's your opinion. You have no idea how I feel or what my relationship is like. And if you see a future with this guy, girl, amazing. Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You've already been through it, so you deserve a chance at happiness too. Well, that is it for me this week on Christy's Couch. Make sure that you subscribe and you rate the podcast. And what's the other thing? Rate, review, and subscribe. Those are the things. I can never keep it straight. And I will see you next week on the pod. Have a great one. Bye. No, I'll actually see you next week on the couch. Sorry about that. Have a great week. Bye.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing whilst you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. Then cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast app.